Hey everybody, this is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. Today is Friday, October 12, 2018, and we are here joined by none other than former Gamer of the Year, Pete Hahn, for another one of our live podcasts. Thank you all for joining us. As always, it's been longer than anticipated since our last podcast.
Much longer.
Much longer. Still working on getting on that schedule of doing these every other week or so. Usual explanations. There's so much going on.
But now we do have hope. We have Zach now, so there's hope for more of these coming up.
Huge shout outs to our newest Galloping Ghost employee, Zach Edgerton.
Is it Edgerton?
Is it?
Yeah, is it? Yeah, I think you're right.
So he's been doing great. Shout outs to Zach. Thank you. He's been going from the arcade and Galloping Ghost Gamma and just doing a little bit of everything. So huge shout outs to him for joining the crew, and hope everybody gets to know him. And
we'll have him doing more soon, but right now he's just getting the hang of everything. For sure. So we wanted to cover a few things, but
first, I should say, before we jump ahead, we're going to be watching the stream chats. So if you have questions, feel free to chime in with those, and we will do our best to answer those.
So yeah, we're watching our Twitch stream chat and our Facebook stream. So if you're watching us on either one, I'll try to get to your question as long as it isn't a trolly one.
Even if it is a trolly one,
okay, we probably will answer them. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, so ask, and then we'll answer it.
Cool.
All right. What do you want to start with?
So, let's see. Where to start?
Well, we have next week coming up, Pinball Expo. You want to talk about that first?
Yes, Pinball Expo. Very excited for it. We are going to have. We've been mentioning something going on with pinball for a while. People have noticed that pinball is off the arcade floor, so. We will definitely be doing a big announcement at Pinball Expo. We're going to be there in full force. We're going to have about 50 games that we're bringing.
50? 50?
Wow.
We're
taking 2 trucks.
Oh, mama.
Going to bring, we've had so many people asking what we're going to be bringing. And we always love bringing rare stuff, prototype stuff, and stuff that people haven't seen. We are going to be running a tournament on Saturday with Orcade, and it is going to be for the Pinball Expo Championship belt.
Oh, there's going to be an actual belt?
There is an actual belt.
All right, cool.
We had that custom made, and nice Pinball Expo center plate for it, and then we've got the Galloping Ghost logo on it and the Orcade logo, so anxious to see. I've been hearing and reading online a handful of people who are going to be out there for sure contending. It's going to be a tournament in 10 games. So
better practice.
Practice up, and who knows what we're going to have out there. It might be stuff, maybe.
So will it be of the games that we're going to have there, of the 50? It'll be based on those?
I might even bring an extra 10.
Just to hide in the back?
Just to hide in the back and make those tournament exclusives.
Just pull the tarp off it right before the tournament.
Giant 10 tarps that we unveil.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be stuff from T20. Maybe it'll be brand new stuff.
You never know.
You never know. We like to surprise people. So definitely, I think it's a $10 buy-in. You can play for the entire duration of the tournament on Saturday.
How's it going to work for people not playing in the tournament? Are they still going to have access to the games?
Probably not.
Okay.
Like, especially while the tournament is going on, they will not be open for public play.
Okay.
All the rest of the games that we bring will be, but it's that little added incentive to come and be a part of the tournament, get into the scoring community, and especially talking with Rob Burke, their Pinball Expo. Obviously, we're more on the video game side here, but I've always had a strong passion for the pinball side. But hopefully, we can get a lot of the pinball players to put up some scores.
Cool. Are we okay? That answered my question. We had a quick question in the stream chat. Who has the high score in Galaga? Are you talking about the house high score? Because if you are, I believe Joseph Piccatelli has it with around 2.2, 2.3 million. That's 5 live settings.
Yes,
that's a pretty good score.
Absolutely.
It's by Robert, who asked that in our Facebook stream. But yeah, thank you for asking. So yeah, Pinball Expo is next week, and it's Thursday through Saturday?
Yeah, I believe we're loading in on Wednesday.
Okay.
I don't know if that's open to the public or not, but I believe it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Cool. And then the tournament's just Saturday?
Tournament is just Saturday.
Okay.
And we're going to be entering in a lot of scores, and it should be a really fun time. Again, I think we'll probably... I also have a discussion panel on owning and operating the Galloping Ghost arcade and what it takes to maintain and open an arcade in this day and age. And we will, I believe it's at 2:15.
On which day? Friday?
On Friday.
Okay.
So
cool.
If you want to come check that out, that last year was a fun panel. It was last year I was joined by, who was it?
Piscina?
No, this
that
one we
guy.
were talking about opening an arcade, and it was Logan's Arcade and Richie Knuckles.
Oh, okay, cool.
As I recall. That might have been 2 years ago, thinking about it. But definitely a fun discussion. We've had so many people trying to open an arcade. I just got in contact with another person today who is taking the jump into trying to open, and it's been very interesting. I see the full spectrum of people who are trying to open arcades.
Do you think we're getting to a point where like too many people are trying to open, or is it still fine?
It's concerning in the fact that I think there's people who are probably don't have the full information set that probably almost shouldn't open an arcade.
Mm-hmm. So I've seen people that are really good technicians that don't know the business side of it. I know really good business people that don't know the first thing about arcade games. I've seen everything and everyone ask.
For sure. It's we just started up a new Facebook group, which if you are serious about opening an arcade, please feel free to shoot me an email. We are letting people in that are really, really serious about it. Like I said, in the last, probably since the start of this year, there's a video that was put out, and there's probably about 175 people that are attempting and talking about it. A lot of those people, some of them won't. Some of them are getting close to trying, and it's very interesting. We love to see people get into it.
Yeah.
But it's always that risk of you don't want an arcade to open and close.
Right. No, that's just bad for everyone.
For sure. For sure.
The is your email address public so they can email you? Or do you want to give that out here?
Yeah. You can hit me up at ghostlord@gallopingghost.com. Please include like a little bit about your background and what your intent, like where you're at with opening your arcade, and if it's something that's a year away or 5 months away or 10 years away, like whatever it is, just so we can kind of gauge where you're at with everything. So
cool.
Yeah.
Tim Foley just walked in and said, "What did I miss?" Not much, Tim. We were just talking about new arcades opening. We were talking about Pinball Expo, so
yes,
not too much yet. Brad Vitale, aka Slips, just joined. He said he wants a GGA in St. Louis. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can do that. But yeah. Chris Larson asking any word about when the console arcade will open in the south suburbs. Is that something we're doing?
A console arcade?
That's Ray's, right?
That's Ray's, yeah. I don't have any first-hand knowledge of that.
He does have a page for it. Let me search for it real quick, and I'll give you guys a link.
Cool.
Let's see.
I saw I believe, didn't Pixel Blast have over in Lyle have another one of his cabinets?
They had the Genesis one. I don't know if he had another one.
Yeah.
It's called Arcade 816.
Yes.
So let me give you guys a link here in Facebook and in Twitch. All right. So I would definitely follow this page here. I'm going to post it as a comment. Just follow that link. And that'll have all the updates for you there.
Cool. Yeah, it's been so cool seeing all these new places open. We've recently had announcements from Jeremy Fox over at Prince Arcades. He's going to be opening up in Bolingbrook. Huge shout-outs to him. He's been such a tremendous help to us over the years in helping us track down arcade games, and great to see him progressing with his place, and can't wait to see what his arcade floor looks like when he's done.
Yeah, he's posting updates constantly. It's cool to see all the machines he's getting, and they look like they're going to be playing great.
Absolutely. We've got also Uday Kumar also recently announced he was opening up an arcade called the Headless Horseman arcade.
That's a pretty cool name. I like it.
So very cool. Definitely check out both of their Facebook pages and like them, because they're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. If you like what we're doing,
it's going to be more of that stuff.
Yeah. More arcades, the better.
Yep.
So,
cool. We have a question on Facebook. How many potential new arcades do you work with that are pure arcades as opposed to barcades?
Most of them now. There's a few that are barcades. The majority right now seem to be trying to go as actual arcades. Of about the 175 places that we're talking with, probably 40 or so are serious enough and are proceeding with things.
They have business plans. They're ready to go.
Yeah, they're advancing, and it's a little bit further along than the concept. Starting to buy machines and everything, and it's I'd say of that 40, probably less than a quarter are trying to be barcades.
Okay.
There's
nothing wrong with a barcade.
There's nothing
it's
wrong
just a
with
totally
it,
different feel. That's all it is.
For sure. But there's a lot of the people that are reaching out to us want like the traditional arcade. There is so much more that goes into a barcade and getting the liquor license, and it's a different way to make money. It's so great to see so many people inspired by what we've accomplished here, and look down that path. So,
yep. All right. Well, it's good. Good. They're getting inspired. So that's good.
We also have our friend Jerry Colonna.
Yep.
Out in New Jersey.
Yep.
He's got his place opening up soon too. So I think he's got. We'll make a post with a link to his site too. So
cool. All right. So you want to hit the? We were talking about Pinball Expo. Is that all you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, Pinball Expo. I'll probably at my presentation at 2:15 on Saturday. Some point in there, we'll probably let everybody know what's going on with pinball.
Okay.
We've been alluding to it for a while, and I think what better place than Pinball Expo?
Yep. If you missed that part, tournament is Saturday only.
Yes.
And it is going to be 10 games, and we won't announce them till that day.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we do. It's all a mystery.
Yep.
All right.
We can. People should be thinking along the lines of T20, where we had 14 new games at T20.
Yep. Yeah.
So we've got, and we can segue into the expansion on this. We've got our expansion is so close to hitting. We've got. We've been trying to keep everybody updated. We've been talking about this for so long. Initially, we were waiting for the stuff to be cleared out of the space. That's been done. Then it was electric and paint. And there's so many little things that everything needs to line up to get this to actually get to the point where we can open. Electric is in. Paint is done. Carpet should be in by next week.
Cool. So we're like right there.
We are right there. We are, and expanding on this, we can segue this into the next thing. We are going to be doing Shang Tsung's Fight Night on which is October 27th, Saturday. We have so many. The Legends of Mortal Kombat will be here, and many of them anyway. We will be holding that in the new expansion area. So
this is before the expansion becomes public. It's just for that event.
Just for that event.
Okay.
We'll probably have some games in there. We'll probably start the big floor alleviation. I've been so excited to rearrange the arcade, and there is those aisles are so tight, and it is so due for it all is timed out perfectly. We are so anxious to alleviate some of the tight areas in the arcade. So by Shang Tsung's Fight Night, again, join us. In the past, we've done Combat Con, going back to its roots, Shang Tsung's Fight Night at the arcade. So $20 admission, the regular arcade price gets you in, gets you access to meet the Legends of Mortal Kombat.
And they don't charge per autograph. Like once you're in, like they're just cool about it. Like I know that some people have been asking like how much to get this so and so's autograph. Like they just sign stuff because they're really happy to be there for their fans.
For sure. We again will be providing free artwork for them to sign. We're working on something, and again us and our secrets. We've got we like our secrets here at the Galloping Ghost. Expect some surprises. So I know a few people. I've seen people disappointed that it's not going to actually be Combat Con. Again, we had a few of the actors who weren't able to make it, and unfortunately, it didn't make sense to hold it as Combat Con. Just due to the timing of it, we had to pull back a little bit.
So, Combat Con essentially was just a larger scale fight night, right?
It is. The only things different between Shang Tsung's Fight Night and Combat Con really...
It's like no vendors, right?
There's no vendors.
Right.
Normally we do... we've had a cosplay contest in the past. Probably won't do that, but we do expect there to be some cosplayers as it's so close to Halloween for one.
Sure.
So we're going to still have tournaments and all the MK games on the arcade cabinets. The actors will be there. A lot of them coming in from like Brian Glenn, who played Shao Kahn. He'll be in. John Turk, who is Sub-Zero. He'll be in. Philip Ahn, John Parrish, Sal DeVita. So it's going to be a great turnout of the celebrities. It's going to be a fun time. And again, a few surprises. So don't miss it. October 27th, Saturday. Pretty much the whole day it's going to be going on. The actors are probably in the mid-afternoon. They'll be showing up. Some of them are a little sporadic with not 100% on what time they'll be there, but like I say, don't miss it. I think people are going to regret it if they do.
Yeah, and it's not anything extra if you're going to be able to play all the games on the floor anyway.
Absolutely.
So might as well.
And as much as I've loved Combat Con, that was the one thing that was like it wasn't around all the other machines, and that was so cool. We've in the past seen some of the MK guys just kind of just out and about, and they're playing the games themselves, and it's like, where else are you gonna?
Yeah,
you can't get that if you're off site at a different venue, and nice having it back in house.
A couple of questions from Facebook.
Sure.
So before this scrolls off the screen, Chris Larson says the shmup aisle in GGA is really hot if you considered heating/cooling in the expansion. And second question, every time I'm there, the Afterburner 2 sit-down is working-ish but not moving. What's the status of Afterburner?
All right. So heating and cooling in the arcade. The new expansion has its own AC unit that has been put on it. We never have to worry about heat in the arcade.
It's going to heat up, yeah. If it's too cold, just wait a little bit and it'll get warm.
Right.
Machines generate heat.
We are working on. We're using this time, especially with the 10-year anniversary coming up. We want everything to be perfect. We're working towards it. It's always going to be the work in progress, but there's the things like the lighting, the heating. We want to take care of all of that. Back in the shmup area, The AC units were just finished. They're moving on to the shmups room now, and that will be dealt with. So it's not so as warm in the shmups room. Lighting it's hard to handle lighting in the expansion until we see where the light is hitting, where with the cabinet placement. We are looking at the existing lighting. We're going to set everything up, and then we're going to do a reevaluation of the lighting and stuff. And then we're going to take that throughout the entire arcade. The ceilings are much higher in the new expansion, so that'll be interesting. But those two things, the heating and the lighting, we want to really get that laid out once and for all, and it should be handled very soon.
Okay, that's good news for me.
Yeah,
the glare is kind of I get really distracted easily when I'm playing and there's glare. So
the glare,
if you're playing a game and it's really bothering you, you can let us know. Like if you're going for a score, part of your screen's blocked. I'll pull out the light bulb like right above you. Just ask me to do it. Don't do it yourself, and I'll take care of it. Or anyone anyone at the arcade can do that for you. Just ask up front.
Absolutely. So definitely expect a lot of improvements at the arcade. It's those little things. We've always wanted them handled, and it's a great opportunity to jump on it and get it all done once and for all. Even the carpet. I've been so upset about the carpet, especially back by Silent Hill and Castlevania. New carpet going in there as well.
Cool.
So we want to make sure that everybody. We love seeing the games running, but the actual building itself needs to be tended to, and we're on it. So expect a lot of improvements above and beyond what you're already used to.
Cool. There was
I got the Afterburner question.
Oh, sorry.
The two-part Afterburner question. So Afterburner, we've had a lot of we're going to be doing a huge shift around in cabinets, even mentioning the shmups area, the shmups room, and how warm that gets. That will probably no longer be the shmups room. There's more shmups games that just can't fit in there, so it needs to be in a bigger area.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So things are going to be shifting around. Not that it matters because the heat will be taken care of, but we're probably going to be moving Afterburner and Galaxy Force. Galaxy Force has been down for quite a while, and we have a second Galaxy Force 2 next door that is it's fully working, and that should be back up and running. As soon as that's done, then Afterburner is the next to get the motion working.
Cool.
Slight concerns with
my kids and everything.
Yeah, those full motion games. We might make a separate switch that turns the motion on and off, or an easy way to disconnect it, just to better keep an eye on it and stuff. So it might eventually turn into where if you ask, we'll have the motion on. But otherwise, we might just leave it off.
Yeah, just in case, because if we can't watch it 100% of the time, then we don't want anyone getting hurt by it.
Right. But it will be back. Afterburner will be back fully working. I actually am waiting for the fire button on the top button on it has been acting weird, and sometimes
on Afterburner or on Galaxy Force?
On Afterburner.
Okay.
I have a new stick on the way, so I'm just waiting for that to arrive. So. Both will be back up and running. Same thing with Space Harrier. It's being such a huge Sega fan, and
I was going to say that must irk you.
It's something that it doesn't sit right that they're not working 100% properly for me. And plus, we've got some stuff to add to the Sega Motion aisle, so anxious for that.
Where did you score the second Galaxy Force 2? Can you say? It was left on the doorstep, and someone knocked the door and ran away.
The second Galaxy Force 2 I picked up out in... Where was that? I believe it was New York. Yeah, I believe it was actually in New York. We had it shipped in. I don't remember the name of the place off the top of my head. I think they were a museum, though.
Okay.
And they had it. And
you know, one question. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They just wanted it. They gave us a tremendous deal on it, and they wanted it a place where it would be back up and running. We've had interest from Sega to buy our other Galaxy 4s, too, but
nope.
We haven't. Oh, I'd sell it in a second to them. I just haven't.
Really?
They're just haven't been able to get enough back and forth with them on it.
Okay. Actually, I had a question scroll off the screen in Facebook, and I apologize, but there was a question about some baseball games at the arcade, and I think Baseball Stars is one of them. And we were actually just talking about this. Do you want to say what you said, or should we?
Sure.
Okay.
Baseball. We currently don't have any baseball games here at the arcade. I have one baseball game in the vaults currently. So I don't know if we'll see it at... We won't see it at the launch of the expansion. But at some point, yes, there will be a baseball game here at the arcade. Yeah, I'm personally not a huge fan of baseball,
and that factors into it, right? Like what you would enjoy, and factors goes into what goes on the floor, right?
Absolutely. That's why, like, we get so many people asking, "Oh, why don't you have rhythm games and stuff like that?"
Someone just asked, actually, this Jonah Menschenberg just asked. There's a huge rhythm game scene in Chicago, and they're wondering.
There's a few limitations with rhythm games. Like, I personally am not into them. Like, I have a respect for them, but it's not something that I played. Also, the amount of space they take up and the amount of maintenance that they would get and need. Not saying that we would never have one, but it's just not top priority currently. Especially if you're going to do with anything. Like, we can even look at pinball. Like, we tried to expand on it, and it was problematic for us. And
because it's very specialized.
It is very specialized.
They're maintenance heavy.
And same thing. Like, as much as I like playing pinball, but I don't know it that well. And the rhythm side of it, I know of the games, but I don't have that in-depth knowledge of a lot of them. So,
okay. So hopefully that's a good enough answer.
Not out of the realm of possibility, but not in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, space and maintenance are the two big ones
for sure.
Those. But thank you for thinking of us. But yeah, I know there's a lot of the newer rhythm games too have to be network connected for like updates and stuff as well. That's another limitation.
For sure.
We had a question. What about Golden Tee?
Golden Tee. For that, it's one of those where it's so prevalent at so many other arcades. It clearly has a historical value, as it kind of kept the fires burning in arcades. It kept that, hey, arcades are still a thing, and those games sold incredibly well. But they're still out there and so easily accessible. Like same thing. Maybe one day. I'm not into golf at all myself.
That's along the same lines as Buck Hunter, right?
Yeah.
So maybe one day, because
the relevance of it kind of. We were talking with Will Carlin, who had donated us Invasion, the Abductors, the Lycon game from Play Mechanics. And he also worked on Buck Hunter. And he was talking with him about it and hearing more on the history of it. It was like, it got me into it a little bit more. And it's definitely not something that I wouldn't want to have that on the floor versus like a Carnival. Like, with the limited space that we always are, everything's fighting for space.
Right.
And the fact that you can go out to so many bars and pool halls, and any place has a Buck Hunter and a Golden Tee.
Buffalo Wild Wings, like literally everyone has one.
Yeah.
So you can find them.
Yeah.
I understand it's not here, and you want to play all our games here, and we appreciate that. But
that kind of goes back to back when we had the console cabinets.
Yeah.
It was like people when we had our MKX cabinet or
Injustice.
Injustice, it was like people love playing it, and I see that, but they have it at home, and it's like that one game is taking up the space of something that other people will never get to see in an arcade or ever find out about.
Right.
So.
Any chance of getting any sit-down Vulex candy cabs for fighting games or anything else?
I've been tempted several times into getting a couple of Vulex cabinets. It does often come down to space. And honestly, price. Like the price on them is definitely more than a standard cabinet.
No, don't they start also with LCDs in them as well?
For sure, yes, that as well. And there are like our King of Fighters, like
that is an LCD based game.
LCD based game.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have a problem with that if that was what it was meant to be played on. But it's a little more space, and that being so tight.
What about those older, like a Japanese like New Net City or Blast City? Those are CRT based ones. Is there a better chance of those being on the floor?
It's not even a matter of it being LCD or CRT. Like depending on the game. I see somebody on the other chat mentioned Street Fighter V. Like that would be amazing to get one of those and have it in a Vulex. And would we? Absolutely. The big Street Fighter V is depending on the price of it. Yeah, you could definitely. I could see it here. Would it happen right away? Right now, they're doing them in such limited quantities that it would be difficult.
Yeah, it's price prohibitive too. Like they're going to be super expensive, right?
Right. And there was, and the demand for it. I remember when we got King of Fighters 13. They initially, it was Street Fighter 4 was the first one that were purchasing the kit for it.
Yeah, it was the Taito Type X2.
Yes.
Kit? Yeah.
You needed 2 of them, and we were only getting a single player cabinet, just because the price on it was just so outrageous. And we ended up getting King of Fighters 13 instead because we did our console cabinet.
That's right. Yeah.
But that was kind of the big shift. It was like when they started saying that, we were going to do, they were going to be arcade exclusive for a long time. And then they kind of pulled up back on that. And the console versions came out very quickly.
And I know they had exclusive stuff that wasn't even in the arcade.
Right.
That made it more desirable.
Right.
So yeah, that kind of hurts the arcade side of it when that happens.
Absolutely. I've been hearing on Street Fighter V, I've been hearing that initially it had a lag issue. That apparently is being worked on. And so, I don't know. If we did get a Street Fighter V set up, you would probably see it in a candy cabinet.
Okay. Cool. Is James White still the hardcore champion? Asks Dr. Sage. I don't know. He just stopped in.
Yeah, I think he's
might
there
be.
today defending.
We'll have to find out.
Last I heard, I don't see. Looking over at the cameras, I don't see him.
maybe he lost and went home.
Well,
No.
Who knows?
Yep.
Probably. I would think that James is still currently the champ right now.
We had someone in our Facebook stream. What's the future plans for more pinball? We're going to be. Well, do you want to say what you just said about pinball?
For those just joining us on Friday at
Pinball Expo.
Pinball Expo.
So a week from today at 2:15, we're going to be hosting a panel about owning and operating an arcade in today's day and age. We've been talking a lot about pinball, and we're going to make a big announcement there at Pinball Expo. So stay tuned.
So stay tuned. But that is the official announcement for the announcement.
Yes. I know we were getting razzed for that.
Yeah.
We do that. All right. So we got Oh man, I can't scroll back and see all these comments. If I missed your comment, you can post it again, and I'll try to get to you because I let some scroll off the screen. But I remember there was a comment about indie developers with newer games. So we're going to have any of those coming up on the arcade floor. Can you say anything about who you've been talking to and what's going on? Not really.
We're always open to games designed by indie developers. Obviously, we have Galloping Ghost Productions. We've been working on Dark Presence, and we have Spectre Files, which we have a announcement about that, which, you know what, maybe I'll make that later this podcast.
Okay.
But yeah, we are open to it. We get in touch with so many indie developers, and we think it's amazing and try to support. We've seen we had the Sky Cursor guys. We have their cabinet here. Mm-hmm. We've talked with the Cosmotron guys who
they did their party here.
They had their party here, or a party here. Mm-hmm. I know they have a machine out at the Garcade currently. Great looking cabinet design, great game, very fun to play. We currently don't have one here, even though we do, again, fully support those guys, think it's great. Haven't landed a deal with them yet. Possibly one day. Still a lot of things that we're looking at. But yeah, we're always open to it. There is one indie project that we are looking at specifically that we are very excited for. Can't say too much on it just yet.
If it's what I'm thinking of, then I'm happy.
Yeah. It probably is. It would be the one that would make you happy.
Okay.
Before it scrolls, a shout out to Jason Crow.
Yep.
We got to see him for a little bit and are excited to see him over at Shang Tsung's Fight Night coming up.
Yeah. Adam Blake says, hi from the UK. Had an awesome visit back in 2016. Greatest arcade I've ever seen. Magical.
Thank you.
Keep being awesome. Hopefully I can make it back someday. Well, we hope so too. Glad you enjoyed it. Really appreciate that.
Great to have people in from out of the country, and we've seen so many, there's so many great arcades opening up out of the country. Yeah. There's the one up out in Australia that we've been talking to, and I've been so far behind in talking with Stephen Holmes, he's been doing an awesome job out there, and I got to get in touch with him because we've been talking so much about doing some crossover tournaments and stuff. So
be cool.
Just got to get out from being behind so much.
Yeah.
So.
Well, relief is coming.
It is. Yeah, huge shout outs to all the fans from out of the country and out of state, and it means so much to us that how far players travel.
Yeah.
To be a part of this community. So, thanks everybody.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to cover next? We're kind of caught up on questions. Oh, do you hate Pandora's box machines? Someone asked. Well, we don't hate them. It's like emulators. Like it is what it is. You know, if you can't get an original PCB, then I guess play that.
Yeah, like the Pandora stuff. Exactly like you said. I don't hate it. It makes sense for people that want to have access to these games in their houses. As far as a venue having them, that boggles my mind.
As long as they're not trying to pass it off as original. I mean, just be clear about what you have in front of you. You know, some places have to use 60 in ones because they don't have the original, and it is what it is. To me,
I disagree on that. As a venue, that I feel.
Like, where do you draw the line?
It's like in part. It gives like the specialness and of some of these games and the rarity. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like back in the day. Every arcade didn't have every game. No. Like you'd go around and you'd go to the arcades that had
certain games.
Yeah. And that's what made it work. And if everybody just has a Pandora's box and everybody has everything, it's just kind of like it devalues a lot of these rare, obscure games. And it's talking with so many of the people that are trying to open arcades, I really push that. Like in short term, it makes sense. It's like, well, why don't I just put a Pandora's box in there or a MAME computer in there? And it's like, as you get so much deeper in this scene, you're going to be a collector. And if you get something rare and then everybody else has it really takes some of the specialness away. And just to the casuals, like the collectors know what it is, but
yeah, I was saying the people that care that it's on original hardware will know. Like, but there's differences, right?
There's a huge
the quality is so much better on original.
Well, and the emulation is always getting better and better and better. And most of the stuff, to a casual, they won't know the difference between them. Like, you can't, like, once it's up and running and playing, you look at it and you're not going to think any difference between the two. Like, look at a game like Rastan Saga 3, which we just put up.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell between them if you put some effort into it. Like, they would look pretty much spot on as the same game.
If you had, like, MAME underneath running it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And nobody has seen the original enough to know that that's not how it runs. It's the people complaining about Primal Rage 2 running
too fast
or too slow. Yeah. And it's like...
The emulator runs it a little bit too fast.
Yeah.
But if you don't tweak the settings perfectly. How many games will there be after the expansion? Someone just asked in the stream. Can you say? Do we know?
I don't even know. It's it becomes this huge...
It's an equation.
There's
variables involved.
Well, I want to alleviate the floor first. The bottlenecks that are on the arcade, the existing bottlenecks that are on the arcade floor. There's been, over the last few months, we've been pulling a few games off the floor, so all those games have to come back to the arcade floor. Then it becomes the pacing of how quick, we could fill up the space at launch, and I don't want to do that because I want to keep doing Monday Mystery. I hope
get rid of the bottlenecks and all that, and like you're talking about filling it up with new stuff right away.
Yeah, we could just we could bring back the games that are off the floor. We could alleviate some space, and then we have X amount of space left, and it'll be a lot. It'll be probably 150 machines or so. So we'll have a lot of room to work with. But then once you start talking about bringing in the games from the previous T20s, we could fill it up really quick. But it's still a ways before we would be able to expand again. So I really want to pace it and not be back in the same situation where games are in spots that they shouldn't be.
Yeah, because right now, like, it's a scramble. Like, where's this game going to fit?
Right. And the other thing is we have some huge games. There's some stuff that, like, we've got. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 games in about 5 storage units on top of the vaults.
Okay.
So there's a lot of cabinets to get back on the arcade floor. Like. Single games, I think the expansion might hold 220 or so. So it's a lot of space. Like, that's that's bigger than most arcades, just as an expansion. But it's been, it'll be about pacing. But expect a lot of surprises with that and a lot of great titles. The vaults, it's getting harder and harder to buy new games just with we're down to such obscure stuff, and I'm still finding such crazy stuff that I have to do. I see something that's like, what is that? I've never even heard of that. And I've been on some pretty dark and dirty
like the back alleys.
The back alleys of the arcade collecting side, where there's one of ones and prototypes, and this is just some really outrageously rare stuff. So there'll be a lot of surprises that go into the expansion.
We had a question over in Twitch from someone that hasn't been to the arcade in a few years. The expansion is further west. It's basically, we've expanded not toward the Chinese restaurant, the opposite way. We're going to be with the newest expansion all the way to the end of the block. So that's the 4th building.
Yes.
So it's going to be huge. We did not get the property from the Chinese restaurant, but it's westward.
Yes, Canton is still there.
Mm-hmm. Good thing I had lunch there.
The air chef is still in the back halves of the 2nd and 3rd buildings, which is the next desired expansion. So we'll see. And then there's also a smaller garage area back behind Canton. Mm-hmm. So there's a bit more room. I don't doubt that we will have the entire block in the not too distant future. And then once we have it, we'll have to really go through and see if we want to do a 2nd floor or not.
Cool.
So we will see.
Getting a lot of questions. This is good. Thanks everyone for asking. We had Dave Edward asked, could the arcade be rented for a wedding ceremony? What could be better than walking down an aisle of an arcade?
It is very difficult for us to rent out the arcade. You can contact us. It's very, very expensive.
It's not a good idea for us to do it either, I don't think.
Yeah.
That's why it has to be expensive.
Yeah. It's not something that we have on any given day, people traveling in from out of state and out of country, and it would be so disappointing to them if they're one day
we're closed.
We're closed.
We advertise that we're 365. We tell everyone that come on in whenever we're here.
We've not missed a day of being open since we opened back in 2010. Possibly before the arcade opens, or maybe. It's unlikely, but definitely hit us up and we can discuss it.
Cool. Vampire Savior 2, I believe, is working. Last time I checked, Vampire Savior 1 was having issues, but I would just call the arcade, and they can run out the floor and check it. But I believe this morning it was working fine. Cool. What would you like to cover next?
Are there any other questions? Or
there is one. Thoughts on emulation sites starting to close down, Emu Paradise, etc.?
I think it's good and bad. There's a what MAME was always meant to be was to help people repair these boards, and that's a huge side of why I use MAME. I use it to look at games that I'm not sure if I want to buy the original board. I'm kind of split on it. I know people enjoy this stuff.
Some people, it's the only way they can play. I mean,
for sure, but it's one of those.
It's not the original, but
yeah, it's a gray area. From a repair standpoint, I would know how terrible it would be to not have access to the ROMs to repair things.
Right.
To just play. I don't know. I look at it how back in the day, if you wanted to have every Genesis game, you had to go buy every Genesis game. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. I had all of them. It was difficult. Nobody else. Who's going to do that? Right. But it's, I don't know. To each their own, I guess. It's. I think it's great to see the companies protecting their interests. I know Nintendo has been in the past very protective, and
they're the main one. I think that
Namco, and I think that's their right. They're still selling those games as arcade collections.
Right, and people aren't going to buy them if they can download them. I mean, they're trying to sell them on Xbox Live and PSN and the Wii channel and all that. They're trying to make money on what they own still.
For sure. And on that, you got to respect that stuff. It's their property.
What do you? I've had people ask, not in this chat, but before, ask about games where we have one of one. Do you do you share those ROMs, and can they be had, and what do people do about those? Like Beavis and Butthead, I've had people ask me constantly, like, can you put this on MAME? And it's like, I'm not the MAME guy. I'm not the person you need to talk to about that.
Well, and the one-of-one games, you know, we get an outrageous amount of people asking what we're doing to preserve this stuff, and that's a huge element for us. We just had an arcade in California recently. I don't even remember if it was an arcade or if they were just doing it as part of a show, asking us about Primal Rage 2.
Yep,
and they have a new board.
Yeah.
And they were asking for help on how to get it running. And I couldn't wait to hear if they got it 100% working. I was so happy that there's another one out there.
I saw a candy cab. Was that the picture that I saw of them? Okay.
Yeah. And they did. They got it working, and everything was excellent. And it's so great to hear that stuff. Sharing the information. At the same time, again, it's like that gives them having a working Primal Rage 2 gets people to go to their arcade or their museum or their show. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes that special. For me, the preservation, absolutely. The stuff has to be preserved. Should it be preserved so that people can play it at home? That's not really my top concern. Mm-hmm. Talking with so many of the artists that have worked on these games, like the Gottlieb stuff, Arena, being a game that we got from one of the people that worked on it. To me, it's not up to me if I can't make the call to put that out for everybody to have. It has to be up to everybody that worked on it, that got it into our hands. If it's all right with them, then so be it. If that's what they desire, then that's fine. You mentioned Beavis and Butthead. I know a couple other people. There's Hyperspace out in Colorado.
Yeah.
A great arcade.
They have one of the prototypes as well?
They have one of the 12 prototypes.
Yeah.
And if they were like, my disc went bad, or how can I fix that? I'm first in line to
get them up and running.
To get them up and running.
Yep.
We've got it all backed up. That stuff is super important to us. We get, again, just from knowing programmers like Jeff Nauman and George Petro and everybody, we get things, and it's like we get sleeves of chips. We check and see if it's out there. If it's not, we back it all up. And not necessarily for anyone who wants it, but it is preserved. And if we hear about it, like we let people know, and it's
they just contact you if they need a a backup of a ROM or something.
Yeah, again, the appreciation for the preservation of it is there. To help the arcade community, it's there, and it's not always, especially with the companies that are owners of this stuff.
Yeah.
If they're cracking down on it, it's
call.
not necessarily my place to put it out there for everybody.
Right, it's their call.
Yeah.
Any leads on the unreleased Spectre game Predators?
Oh, Predators. There has not been too much progress on Predators. We have an original cabinet.
What?
That I found somebody was selling it on KLOV, and it had been covered over as an Avengers. And
like Captain America and the Avengers, or the other Avengers? Just the Avengers?
Capcom Avengers.
Okay.
So we have the original cabinet. George Petro, amazing, generously donated us a piece of side art, which we scanned in, and we've got the artwork to do the full cabinet now. And that's the last missing piece is the board, which is extremely difficult. I know there is... I know of one that I know is 100% legitimate, and I've been trying to contact the guy. I was talking to him once, and it sounded like maybe one day it would happen. I've heard rumors of another board from a super collector that I've been trying my best. I've been trying my best.
Every time you talk to me, you give him a little nudge. Is it more than nudges?
It might be a.
This is predators we're talking about. Someone just asked in the stream chat.
He's a very hard to get in touch with guy. So I'm working on it. I would love to add that to the Williams row.
Cool.
We will see.
So we had a question I pinned here on Facebook. Have we ever thought about offering arcade repair classes? And I know at the last couple of swap meets you've been doing classes. So that's something that we usually announce and usually plan those with other events. But do you have any other plans to offer that?
We've been working, and I know Brandon just did a new video
Tech tip, yeah,
on our YouTube channel. We will be doing more classes. If you are heading out and that's something that you want, like, shoot us an email or give the arcade a call and ask, because we'll do one-on-one sessions. Like,
I was gonna say, I've seen you just spend a day with someone saying, "Hey, this is what you need to know," and you just follow them around the arcade, and it's been pretty cool. They get just one-on-one day with you you get to show them what you know.
That stuff it's so fun. It's been. I wish we were able to do it more regularly. Like the wiring classes that we do at the swap meets are always. Last one we did was ROM burning. Mm-hmm. And ROM replacement. We've done soldering sessions, and there's so many cool things to show people. And that's always been one of those things that, to me, having an educational side to the arcade, as more and more collectors are joining the scene, it's just awesome to be able to share that stuff and have people that want to learn it. There's always such a shortage of arcade techs, which has been kind of the holdup to so many places opening. And it is like such a make or break thing to an arcade. It's
actually, that leads into something that you wanted to talk about, right?
Which was that? Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, our master tech Seth Young has been out sick. We hope he's getting better and feeling better. We've had a lot of people asking about him, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for the concern. We'll pass along any well wishes, but he's just been out for a little bit, so.
Yeah. I've been down trying to do a lot of the tech work. So it's been we've been calling in outside techs here and there to help with some of it, because it's a massive amount of games to keep up and running. So to see people interested in just getting into the tech side, it's really cool. Some of the stuff is, people make it seem like it's so complicated, and really when you watch somebody do it like 3 or 4 times and you get to practice on even everything from like crimping wires or soldering or any of it, or using a multimeter or a degaussing coil, it's people will usually walk away from it being like, oh, that's all that is. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's around today, I'm going to be recapping a monitor. So if you're here after 6 o'clock, jump on down, and I'll show you how to recap monitors.
Or at the arcade?
Down here at Productions.
Okay. You heard it first. All right. Bonus class coming up in about an hour. So yeah, Shady says a new hardcore champion was just crowned, possibly the youngest one yet. So I guess James has been beaten. Yeah,
a young man named John Goodwin defeated James on the grid.
Yep.
And that's the grid, such a personal favorite. You see, it's always packed. Just awesome. We got to have a grid tournament sometime soon. That would be absolutely amazing.
Oh, you know what we should talk about?
What's that?
Supreme. No? No?
Should we?
I mean, it's your call. We can just mention what we know, and we don't have to. Someone just asked in the stream chat.
What did they ask?
Regarding Supreme lawsuit, are you guys friend with Dave or Adam at Iron Galaxy? Might want to reach out to them, it says. See, I don't know. Do you see it right there? I can make this text bigger. Hold on. Right here. So I don't know. Someone asked about it. That's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about that if you don't want to. It might be best to not mention it.
Yeah, I think we will not mention that.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it looks like we're caught up on questions then.
All right. Somebody did ask, was there ever a He-Man arcade game? And if not...
If no,
why the hell not? I've never seen a He-Man arcade game.
Was there a pinball? Master of the Universe? It sounds like there should have been.
Not to my knowledge, but definitely no arcade game that I've ever seen. Why not? I assume there's just no license for it, or same thing. There's never Transformers. Well, actually, now there is.
Now there is, yeah.
Now there is, but not back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Cool. Thank you, Christopher. You guys have a great collection of games. Keep up the good work. Let the classics live on.
Absolutely.
Yep. If licensing He-Man would be mad cheap, maybe we should have Galloping Ghost Productions do a He-Man game. That'd be kind of fun.
No. You know, we've reached out a few times and tried to get a few licenses with.
Is Godzilla one of them?
That would be
expensive, I'm assuming.
It might be. There's a license that we were trying to get where it was surprisingly inexpensive, and then there's been we were reaching out to Data East about a few games.
Oh man, Data East has such good old IPs. I would love.
I don't know if I ever even told you about that.
I think you might have.
I might have.
Yeah.
I might have. But we were working on we're trying to figure out what game we're going to be working on next under Galloping Ghost Productions. Dark Presence has been screaming along. By the end of the year, we should have pretty much the core game done, and then we'll have front end, back end, and some hardware stuff, and whatever music I still have to record, which hopefully by the end of the year we will have all the music done. But I've very behind in music recording right now. But it'll be interesting to see what we go after, if it'll be a licensed game. Some interesting titles out there that are available.
Nice.
So,
any word on Battle of the Arcades?
Yes.
Okay.
There is. I don't even know if I've talked to you about that yet either.
I have not heard. Mark Schuld asked.
Yes. There's been some rumblings, and not much more to say than that. But the discussions are starting to happen between the people who make those things happen.
Okay. It's a start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some games being tossed around here and there. And so it probably will happen.
Okay. Hello to the Shed Arcade. Shout outs to them. They're I think tuned in from Denmark. So that's where you guys are at, right? Are we still using Unity? What is your overall opinion of the engine? Unity is being used, right?
Yes, we are running Dark Presence in Unity. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a great engine. We've been able to do a lot with it. It's not been the specs of our game. The game is just massively huge, and it's been interesting getting it to work. We had for so long worked in a proprietary engine that it also could not handle the game. But now Unity, it can do it. It's just not necessarily designed to run a game like this out of the box. So we've had Will working on the code side of it, and he's been doing a phenomenal job, and it's playing great. Like, there's been some very heated matches between Waffles and Phil Pops and GGA Jeremiah, and we've just making sure that it's going to be a lot of fun for people. It's a complicated game, so anxious to get everybody's response to it and see it. And Pete, we hope you come down here soon and get some time on it.
We'll see.
I hope so, man.
Someone is asking what days are we here in Brookfield. I'll come down. Doc is here pretty much every day, except for sometimes Sundays you take off, but I'm usually off Sundays as well, and usually Thursdays. But any other day than that, like, I'll usually be here, and Doc is here pretty much 24/7. You live like pretty close anyway, so you get here so fast.
I usually I've been walking in lately, so my car wakes everybody up when I leave so early. So
what about your motorcycle? You have
my motorcycle?
Is that loud too?
No, my motorcycle's surprisingly quiet for what it is.
Stealthy.
It is a Ninja.
Yeah, exactly.
But as it gets colder, it's not
cold. The cold start. Yeah.
So.
I was just reminded. Are we good on the questions for a little bit?
What's that?
Are we good for leave questions for a little bit? I want to bring up a couple of high scores.
Sure. You want to get that last one?
Oh, do you ever find modern arcade games? We had the question in Twitch.
Yeah, we definitely are.
We have Darius Burst. That's somewhat modern.
Yeah, Darius Burst, Castlevania, the arcade game, Left 4 Dead, Metal Gear.
Those are all after 2010.
Yep, Silent Hill. So we and Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not opposed to newer games. It's again, so often it's there's something like Darius. When I saw that, I had to.
Oh man, I'm so glad you got that.
We had to.
That's a great game.
So,
and playing it at home is not the same. I mean, I know a lot of people have it on PS4 and on Steam, but the cabinet with the how deep that bass rumbles and the lights that go off when you get to the boss, it's like it's an experience.
Yeah,
so it's definitely a lot of fun.
So good.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Dark Presence, Doc, do you have a favorite between Wilson and Trenton?
Do I have a favorite between Wilson and Trenton?
Yes. Which one is more your spirit animal?
That is too tough a question to answer. Visually, I think Trenton is
it's more you.
I like how that's essentially how I used to dress in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. But I have some pretty strong connections to Wilson too, so tough to discern between the two.
Oh, we've got a few more questions on Twitch here. Al Anonymous, thank you for joining us.
Shout outs to Al Anonymous, who huge thanks to him again. Yeah. We've since the last time we did our podcast, we have upgraded our stream equipment, and it was all based on the recommendations of Al Anonymous, who helped us do direct capture and make our stream that much better. So huge shout outs to Al Anonymous for all his help. Yeah,
it's been a great jump up in quality when we have games that are compatible. There's like vector games we can't do it with, and there's going to be like black and white ones that won't work with it, right?
Yet.
Okay.
We'll figure something out.
But Al Anonymous, he had asked, what PCB does Predator's game use? Is it a Joust 2 PCB?
To my knowledge, it is not.
Oh.
It's unique to itself, unfortunately.
Okay. Shed Arcade asks, will we eventually get an ice cold beer?
Ice cold beer.
When I was at Arcade Club, this is a couple weeks or about a month ago now.
Yeah.
It was being played constantly. My wife wanted to play it, and she could not get on it because there was someone always on it. And it's like everyone. It seems like everyone really likes that game.
Yeah. I've seen it for sale. They're always usually super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Who knows?
It could happen. It's definitely not a. It's not one on my list right this moment, and I do not have one in the vaults.
Okay. Anonymous says we should get J-Rock to adapt his Williams FPGA for it.
See, that would be cheating for me.
It is?
It would. It just wouldn't feel right. For me, we've tracked down an original cabinet. We've got original artwork.
It's either what if it's that or no one gets to play it though. If you got it in an FPGA,
but then we don't. To me, it's like we don't deserve it then. Like there's one.
Does anyone deserve it?
Well, that's the thing. There's somebody that has that one board.
Are we cheapening his experience if we FPGA it?
Probably not, and he would probably be like, do whatever you want. But it's one of those, to me, if we can't have an original, I think that's the guy that has the board. Let him have it. Let him have that super rare thing. We've got tons of those. Not tons, but we've got a lot of games that we're honored to have.
Yeah.
And it's just the difference of, like, I think if we picture this, if we put a J-Rock board with it out there, and then everybody got to play it,
mm-hmm.
and then we finally tracked one down. We finally got the Predators board, and we put it on the floor. The casuals will be like, they've always had that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing
unless
special.
there's any gameplay difference, even the hardcore players wouldn't even know the difference, probably.
True.
I mean, that's it. Kind of, I guess, it depends on what your perspective is. Like, if you want it to be accessible to everyone, which is what MAME does,
for sure.
Or
but
if it's just if you want to make it like a special thing where only certain places have it.
But for me, if every arcade had every game that we had here on the arcade floor, would we still be as special?
No one has the space.
Well, but that's like saying that you could just replicate this with MAME and.
Oh, you could, yeah. Like any one person could do it, yeah.
And we hear that it's not the exact same, but I don't know. The casuals, I don't think they understand the huge difference between them. So.
Yeah. Some definitely, like, people even that know the game sometimes can't spot the differences.
For sure.
So we got Battle of the Arcades included Arcade Club UK. That'd be kind of cool if we included them. They have international competition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they've got a really nice selection of games there.
We get invited, but we don't really we're not setting it up per se. Like I would be, if you have an arcade and you'd want to be a part of it, hit us up and we'll do our absolute best to get you involved in it. But that's not. We're not the ones making that decision necessarily.
Yeah, we don't control. It's not an arcade tournament. Like, we don't control everything about it. We're just participants in it.
Yeah.
Right now is the way I see it. We had a Facebook question. Aaron Wood said, Sinistar, Sit Down, Star Wars, Tron. You guys have those. Our Sinistar Sit Down is off the floor right now. Our Star Wars Empire Strikes Back is a sit down, which actually is not working right now, and our Tron is a stand up. So we have all those currently.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Any
new questions?
Plans for decorating the place?
Decorating the place more lights, like different colored lights or like black lights, decorations.
Decorations and lights. We're trying to get our light situation under control. More decorations. I've got just stacks and stacks of posters that have been given us from industry people. So much artwork and just drawings from guys like Brian Colin and Jeff Lee. And there's so much to go up on the wall. And we put some up every now and then. But again, it's that call of something's down. Like that keeps me so busy from hanging up that stuff. And
wait, what do you mean something's down? Like someone?
Like to me, like I know everybody loves looking at like the artwork and the wall decorations and stuff, but it's like the priorities have to be with fixing games.
Right.
We do constantly add stuff. Not constantly, but we are always adding more stuff to the front counter. just like the Darius ship and the Gradius ships, and that stuff is so cool. So
It is.
it'll continue. It's not. It's not.
It's not a priority over the games,
Right,
But it
right.
still is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And we've got a lot of cool stuff to put up there.
All right. Yeah, I think we're caught up.
Cool, cool. You are going to bring up something.
Well, I just wanted to highlight a few scores. Since we've
Yes.
not done this for a long time, there's right now there's it's kind of hard to see what scores have been happening lately at the arcade because the Grinkers tournament's going on. So if you go to Arcade right now and look at newest scores, it's all Grinkers. So eventually we'll have it set up so we can filter location here, I think.
Right.
But there's a couple scores I did want to highlight. First of all, James White, who just was about a week ago, set a new Frenzy House record. He's did about a 10-hour marathon on Frenzy. So shout outs to James for that.
Yeah.
Great
We're
job.
very happy to direct feed on that.
Yep.
That was got that up and running just in time, which
Yep.
was nice. So,
And the game held steady, and James pulled it through. He started off a little shaky. I was a little worried, but he definitely got more solid as the day went on. So that was good to see.
yeah.
Congrats, James. I also wanted to shout out Slips Brad for his Ninja Turtle prowess.
Yes.
The first Ninja Turtle game, he beat without dying, so that's insane. And he beat like a 20-year-old world record as well.
Yeah. Congratulations to him for
1997.
that.
Yeah, and he beat it by like 4 points or 6 points.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much more left in the game because there's a limit on the number of Mausers you can kill.
Right.
That spawn and that type of thing, and there's no hitting back the boomerangs. So that's not allowed. So shout outs to Slips, also known as Brad Vitale.
Yes.
So those are some good. There's a ton of good scores lately, and I feel bad for kind of skipping over scoring lately, but I want to get better about it. I might be doing Facebook like recaps just to kind of keep everyone in the know. But I know Tibbetts is really close to once he's seeing Dragon Breed. He got to the last guy on Monday.
Yeah. I saw him when we were changing out that marquee.
Yeah.
He
So
was back
that's
there
happening
working on
soon.
it.
I know that Chris, once he seed Warrior Blade, Raston.
On
launch.
on launch day.
So shout outs to Chris for that.
Yep.
It's a great accomplishment.
Your Gamer of the Year.
The Gamer of the Year.
Have we done a Gamer of the Year podcast? Have we done a podcast since the anniversary? Wow.
No.
Well, how about that for news? Chris Plackey, your new Gamer of the Year, back in August. He took the belt, and then he got the 10X championship and had the hardcore title as well. So
Yeah. He had belts falling off of him all over the place.
It's awesome.
So we've got a few other questions here. Shout outs. Mark Schultz says Matt Walters for pole position. Yes, that pole position house high is almost unbeatable now. It's like closing in on the world record, and there's not many points left in that game. You have to basically play the game perfectly.
Yeah.
So Walters definitely gets a shout out for that score. Jimmy Mack gets a shout out for the Cubert, the challenging version. House
Faster,
high.
harder, more challenging.
He beat the score that Walters had on that, and that score was better than all the T20 scores. So he beat everyone that played in T20 on that game. So that's good.
Excellent.
The Shed Arcade asks, Are we planning on expanding our cave games? So what do we have from Cave right now?
On the floor
Yeah.
or
No,
in
no,
the
no.
vaults?
On the floor. We have Espluda.
Mm-hmm.
What else? We have Dodonpachi.
Yeah.
And we have Diojo.
Yes.
Beast Storm's not considered cave, though, is it?
No.
What else do we have?
It's in the 4th expansion. Starts with a G.
Oh, yeah. It's Guwange.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's in the shop room now.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
I
That
was
did
thinking-
move.
That's right. So, yeah, I don't know what other cave do we need? We need Esperade if you're going to get that one.
Okay.
Akai Katana. How many more are there? There's
You're missing a
more.
few.
There are
We've
more.
got a few more.
Yeah. Okay, what don't we have? Or what do we have? I'm still trying to think. Did I say the first Donpachi?
No.
Okay, so Donpachi, Dodonpachi, Diojo, Guwange, Esperade, or Espluda we have.
Yes.
Yes.
Espluda.
Yeah.
Death Smiles.
And we have Death Smiles and Pro Gear.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's it. Is that it? Those are the ones we have. Okay.
Those are the ones we have, yes.
Okay. So we need Ketsui. Oh, man. There's, Death Smiles 2, if you consider that. That's Cave, right?
Yeah. Death Smiles 2. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. We need Esperade, Espagluda 2, and Ketsui.
Mm-hmm. We will definitely be expanding on our Cave lineup.
Cool. You know what'd be cool is we can have some guys that really know those games run those with direct feed and have like a great stream with those guys.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Saidai
Yeah. That's the newest one, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Daifukatsu?
Daifukatsu is.
Okay. Cool. Dodonpachi 2 doesn't count as Cave.
No.
No.
Well, I guess.
Well, it's the same series, but Cave didn't do it.
Right.
It's different hardware, too. So.
Yep.
Any working Bronze Age games in the vaults ready for the expansion? I'm sure there is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We just can't say, but I'm sure there is some stuff coming out for the expansion that's Bronze Age. What do you consider Bronze Age? Like 80? Pre-80?
Pre-80, I would say.
Golden Age is like the 81 through like 84?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we got Chris Plackey just joined us on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in, Chris. He's our Gamer of the Year.
Yes.
We were just got done giving you props for the 1cc you did on Monday.
And for Gamer of the Year.
Yeah.
And Hardcore and 10X that you did back in August.
Yep. So this is a good question, and this is asked by Slips. What do you think about the Twin Galaxy scores? Should they still be considered the world record scorekeepers? They make such good movies.
That's a
loaded question.
That is a very big question.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing an all orcade podcast here soon.
Jeremiah should be on that.
Absolutely, it'll be the three of us, and that is definitely. We've had a lot of back and forth on Twin Galaxies, and with Orcade so close to relaunching, there is just so much to cover with it. So I'm going to hold off on that question, and we'll
address that.
We'll address it very, very soon. There's going to be a massive all Orcade podcast, similar to this one, but just about Orcade.
Okay. There's a gentleman named Matt Kittredge in the stream saying, "Hi, Doc. I'll be flying in from Maryland on the 25th for a couple of days. Finally get to experience Galloping Ghost."
Awesome.
So, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
We'll see you then.
Looking forward to having you out.
Anonymous says we need a Pong room expansion. We do have a Pong here, actually.
We do.
It's right by the bathroom.
Galloping Ghost Pong, made by Niles North.
Yep, high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, your 1cc score will be submitted. It was done on stream, so that counts.
Yes.
It's live streamed. It's good. So, as soon as we get the scoring track made, we'll be sure to put that in.
Yes.
What else? Was there any other good scores you can think of? What else are you playing? Or what else? We should talk about that eventually, but I don't know. There's been a ton of good scores. I just don't know where to start, and I do apologize.
It's there's so many great ones going in. It's just the problem of, again, not doing a podcast for 3 months.
No, it's longer than that.
4 months.
It might be longer than that.
Wow.
The same thing goes for swap meets. I know that's one thing I want to bring up because people have been asking me. I used to get messages almost every day, like, when's the next swap meet? This is both from vendors and customers. People just want to know. They like them so much. It's a pretty cool event. Very, very fun, very low key. People just come out, even if they're not planning on really buying anything. A lot of people just come out just to hang out. But all I can say is it's going to be after the expansion. Yes.
We've got ever since T20, it's been very full over here at Productions. So once the carpet is down, we can start thinning out what's over here and move some stuff around at storage, then we can get back able to do events, and there's plenty of them that are lining up that we should be running.
Yeah, as soon as Shang Tsung's Fight Night's done and the expansion's done, then we'll start talking about the swap meet. We'll get that lined up pretty quickly afterwards, and you'll hear it on our social media for sure.
Yes.
One thing I did want to talk about, I think a lot of people have accidentally been unfollowed on our. They might still have this page joined, but if you want to make sure you're getting all of our updates, just make sure you're also following the page. Because if you're not following, if you put your mouse over following, just make sure you're following, and then turn on notifications so that way when we post something you get notified. Because a lot of people have been missing a lot of our announcements or calling and asking things that we just posted. I think that our notifications got turned off for some people.
And I know Facebook has changed how they do stuff. So it's been impactful to everybody that has businesses that uses Facebook as their big outreach. So as always, and everybody's been so great about this with liking and commenting, but the more help we can get with sharing, that definitely helps get the word of mouth out there, and that's really what ultimately helps us grow so much.
Yeah, I know you're a big proponent about just word of mouth, just you want people to share what they found about the place.
Well, and that's really we much rather than, like, we've never really spent anything towards marketing
That's by nine.
and advertising. Right. We like to put our money towards getting new games and expanding and growing that stuff rather than trying to spend it on selling. The place, it should sell itself. So, but we definitely do appreciate when people share our posts, and it does help a great deal. So,
so we're on Facebook, Galloping Ghost Arcade. You can also join Galloping Ghost Productions. It's more, like interactive and more community based. It's not a page; it's a group, so you can post with whatever you want in there. Yep. Well, not whatever you want, just within reason. Follow us on Instagram, Galloping Ghost Arcade. You can follow us on Twitter. It's G Ghost Arcade, I believe, on Twitter. Mm-hmm. So yeah, all those, and we try to get any news of new stuff coming out or events always posted. So please give us a follow. What is your favorite arcade game? You just had a question for you, Doc.
For me, what is my favorite arcade game?
Yep. It says, "Hey Doc, what's your favorite arcade game?" What if can I guess?
You can guess, sure.
Narc.
I do give Narc usually as my number one arcade game.
Yeah.
It was the first arcade game I ever purchased. Especially now with the version that we have, the 1-of-1 version. I find that to be absolutely unbelievable. I'm still astonished every time I talk about that. It is tough, though. Like, Mortal Kombat had such a huge influence.
The first one?
Yeah. And 2.
Mm-hmm.
Asteroids had a huge influence. It's a difficult question, but if I was forced, I would say Narc, I guess.
Okay.
What about you, Pete?
If I was forced to pick just one game as my favorite?
Yes.
It changes, but right now, I don't know.
If it wasn't allowed to change.
If it was never allowed to change?
That was always how it was posed to me.
Oh, okay.
It's just like the 1-of-1. And it's
I haven't thought about that much. I've thought about like what it is right now, but like the most formative, like the most like important to me growing up, it might be Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting.
Fair enough.
And after that, it might be Primal Rage. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you, Matt. We appreciate you tuning in. Nearly 700 games and possible choice. That is correct. Any news on when Spectre Files is getting a release?
So Spectre Files, we are doing an extremely limited run of the cabinet. We've got many sold already, so reach out if you're interested in one.
I know there's only a certain number made, right?
Yes.
They're limited?
So they are very limited.
Yeah. So you got to email Doc about that.
Yeah. Do that. If anybody is interested in Spectre Files, for those not familiar with it, it was an unreleased game from Brian Colin that he started back in 1984. It has been finished, and I am astonished at the amount of play that it gets here at the arcade. It's
People love it.
It's so there's always somebody on it, and it's such a unique game that like it's so weird. It's such a weird game. It's really like it's kind of got that
Choose your own adventure
feel to it. Like you would liken it to, it's supposed to be a Laserdisc game like Dragon Slayer or Space Ace, but it just being question based, and it's so easily accessible to anybody.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in one, definitely hit us up very, very soon before they are gone.
We have a gentleman by the name of Steve Tyke in the Twitch chat saying he'd like to be recognized on TG for tournament settings on Centipede, but it just goes through really slow, and that's due to their process they have there, like where people vote on it, and that I think that's one of the downfalls of the voting process is that if the score is legit, it doesn't matter who votes on it. If it's legit, it's legit.
For sure.
I mean, if it's not, then it's not. You know?
Unfortunately, with TG, we have no affiliation with them.
Yeah.
So not much we can do. If you'd like to set an arcade score, come on out. Yeah. It'll be
yeah, I mean, people always ask, like, we get this question either on the Orcade page or on the forums for Orcade. People are like, how can I submit my score? And there is no submission process. Basically, you go to a venue that has an Orcade ref and you play live.
Yep.
Like, it's all live performed scores in arcades. There's no need for, you know, if you're going for a world record, then yes, we're going to make sure your ref knows to record it. But if you're not going for a world record, then go to a ref and say, okay, I want to set this score, and they'll let you know. Yep. But it's all venue based. It's all done live.
Yep.
There's no home for performances for Orcade.
Right.
At least right now.
Do we have the Act? The Act, another. It's similar to a choice-based game. We do not. Very cool game. Very rare. Very rare. Hopefully one day, maybe we'll have one.
Who makes it? I never heard of it.
Oh, what's the company that makes that? It was the only game that they put out. It was on.
Is it Mitchell?
No. Mitchell has more than one game.
I know. Any more pigskin tournaments? Right now, I think our pigskin has issues.
I've got to work on the monitor on that, on pigskin 621 AD. But yeah, pigskin tournament would be fun.
Yep.
That was the Troll Bowl that we had a while back.
So 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
But it'd be great to get Brian Colin and Jeff Nauman out and have another one.
Cool. We had a few questions on our Facebook, our Galloping Ghost Productions page.
Okay.
Any question if there's going to be a possibility of an 18 and over night?
No.
Yeah, I don't see that as a possibility because we advertise ourselves as all ages all the times. And
yeah.
If someone's on their way out and they don't happen to catch our announcement, then we can't just turn them away.
Right. And what would be the point of it? It's like we don't allow alcohol.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, remember you were talking about like turning off the nights one light or turning off the lights one night. Sorry, I got a little backwards there. Have you thought about doing that?
I have thought about a night of having it a bit darker in there. I'm anxious with the next update. When we update our lights, I think the arcade might be a bit dimmer. We'll see though.
Cool. Better for setting scores. You get more glow. More phosphorus in my eyes. D. Alex asks, any more wrestling style belts like a Royal Rumble or tag team inspired belt, or a potential cage match? How would that work? Can we have a cage somewhere?
We will. I guess we would just lock the door.
Yeah.
There will be another belt
besides the Pinball Expo belt.
Yes,
okay.
that Pinball Expo belt. That's Pinball Expo's belt.
Okay.
We're hosting the tournament, and Orcade is the scoring house. But to me, that's their belt. There will be one more belt, at least, but one in the near future. For doubles, Maybe.
That's kind of hard to do. Like, there's
yeah, it is. Like, it's outside of Monday, I don't see too many, like, that's when the regulars are there, and it would be hard to justify it.
Yeah. 2-player runs are some of my favorite things to do at the arcade, though.
For sure. I see a lot, like, it's cool when you see them, but it's just definitely a much smaller.
Yeah. Get everyone together at once. It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
All right. We have a guy saying visiting November 8th and 9th. Will the expansion be done by then? Probably, right? Hopefully.
Probably. We have not announced an official date for when it'll be coming up soon. It'll be as we've done with previous expansions. We held an event for it.
So we'll look for an announcement then for that. Right?
Yeah, there will definitely be an event.
So
a ribbon cutting ceremony.
Adam Luce asked this question a day or two ago in production, so I wanted to make sure to answer him.
Cool.
Any more Dark Presence info? There might have been before you got here, Mike, I think.
Dark Presence info? Yes.
Yeah.
We are going to be I appreciate you asking about Dark Presence. It's we are going to be having people come down more and more.
People are asking about your guitars.
Oh,
they're noticing.
People are asking more and more, and we want to have more and more players down to do some testing on Dark Presence. So, I don't know, maybe we'll make that either
an event.
We might make a Ghost Coin event for that coming up.
Better save those coins.
Yeah, save those coins. Do what you can to get some coins.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, you've had a few people commenting on your guitars, and now you have a question. Any chance we'll see those guitars getting some action?
Yeah. The guitars are, the collection has grown a little bit, and we've got some crazy stuff going on I believe next week we're going to be, first week of November we will be doing some heavy recording for Dark Presence. So if people want to see a stream of some live music for Dark Presence, let me know and we'll stream something.
What's your favorite band? I can almost answer that.
Go answer.
No, go ahead.
It's Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin would be.
Okay, so
that's the band.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you ever come into Doc's office, that's what's playing. It's just the default soundtrack to his office.
That's the only music on my phone. It's the only music anywhere.
It's its own genre. So we had a question. The slowest hours during a Monday or Tuesday. Mondays are actually not super slow, only because almost all the regulars come out on Monday. So there's a decent crowd that comes out for the mystery game. So I don't know if you're asking because you want to have more of the place to yourself or if you want to set a score. Tuesdays are a lot slower as a general statement, but Mondays, it kind of depends on when you come. So, yeah, I don't know why you were asking that. Your question scrolled off the screen, but if you're asking because you want to come in and set a score, just let us know ahead of time. We get a lot of people that come in from the weekend. They're like, I want to set a world record, but it's a game that everyone wants to play, so it's kind of hard to do at that point.
Sure.
All right. So Chris is going to talk to you about volunteering to test Dark Presence.
Cool.
Is that his right as Gamer of the Year?
Oh, there's no right, but we would be happy to have him.
All right.
There's been some intense matches, high emotions.
We do not serve many pizzas still. No. We got rid of the toaster oven. We're out of Ball's energy drink. I think restocking that's become problematic, so We'll see about that. But not right now. We don't have any.
Somebody would you consider getting T-Mack on the arcade floor? Great game.
Is it Capcom? Who is that? T-Mack.
T-Mack? Who does make T-Mack?
I don't know.
Is it Namco?
Or an R360?
T-Mack, I will remain silent on. R360, So R360 is my current holy grail of games. I do not have one. I know where there is one, but it is probably more money than half the games that we've spent on the arcade.
Oh my god. Okay.
Maybe more.
That's insane.
It is. And I'm still trying to justify it. I think it would be so unbelievable to have one here.
It's Sega, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why it's your grail then.
I've seen so many people. It just kills me every time I see one. It's like it would be so amazing to have that kind of a goal by the 10-year anniversary, but I don't know.
So I know this was asked as a troll, but do we have a ladies' night? And I would say every night is ladies' night here.
Yeah.
Ladies are always welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Would you ever consider doing more behind-the-scene videos showing restoration process?
Asked by Krell.
Asked by Krell and Twitch, yeah.
That is I finished that Roston cabinet, and I stood back from it, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe we didn't record any of this build. And it was there's so many little unique things. Like the wiring of the cabinet was easy. There's a lot of like adjusting the mirror and the plexi work. There was a lot of really cool stuff.
I would have liked to have seen the artwork going on that because it's kind of huge full panel art.
Oh man, it's so hard when we're always racing. Like Monday Mystery, I'm racing to get the cabinet ready. Like that one, I started about 2 weeks before it was done.
And you're still making last minute adjustments too.
Oh yeah, there was so many little things. I have to make an official apology.
Uh-oh. For what?
For the Monday Mystery release on Roston Saga 3. I had the mirror in backwards. When we brought it down, we had to walk it down from Productions. And it's got the two-way mirror in there. And by the time we were turning on and testing it, I instantly saw, I'm like, oh, there's a double reflection. That glass has to be on backwards. And it bothered me so much. And nobody said anything. Nobody even really noticed it, but sorry for that. It lessened the launch of that game for me.
Do we do wet or dry install for side art?
Dry.
Wet means you can move it around because it hasn't cured yet? Okay.
It's with that one for Roston.
Anonymous asks.
It was... We do so much bleed on it that it's a pretty flexible install. Like the
bleed means like overprinting?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can just put it on and then just cut off the excess.
Okay.
Depending on the cabinet, I know we just had... There was one cabinet that was sized perfect, and it was... That one should have been a wet install, but can't always get that. So, but yeah, the reason we want to be doing more behind the scenes videos, that was kind of when Waffles popped on. We had hoped he would be filming that stuff, and he quickly became so.
He's deep into Dark Presence now.
Yeah, he's so backed up with Dark Presence stuff that it's hard to get everything covered that should be getting covered. It's so many tremendous things happening behind the scenes here that I think people would really appreciate seeing, and it's just unfortunate that moments aren't captured. But we'll keep trying to do better. We'll try to give that inside look of all the crazy stuff that goes on. Like the Facebook page, like we probably cover less than 10% of the cool stuff that happens here.
Oh, Sean Quigley just joined. Thanks for tuning in, Sean. Good to see you
join. Shout outs
join.
to Sean Quigley. Hope you're feeling all right. And
yeah, one of our regulars here, real nice guy. We hope to see you soon.
Yeah, looking forward to his return to the arcade.
Yeah, that's all I had from questions.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a million things that I've said we were going to talk about and haven't. So if there's any questions left, I think we're ready.
We got to wrap up pretty soon.
Yeah. If there's any questions, type them now or wait.
Or wait till next time.
Wait till next time.
Which could be 4 months.
No.
Hopefully not.
Let's hopefully. Do we even say that we're going to hopefully do this?
No, because you know what? We'll jinx it if we say it.
All right, I won't say it.
Let's see, what else can we talk about in the meanwhile here? So we covered the main ones. We covered Shang Tsung's Fight
Shang
Night.
Tsung's Fight Night.
Pinball
Expo. Expansion coming soon. Arcade podcast coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Don't miss it.
Yep, those are the main ones. Shout outs to all the high scorers. You guys know who you are. You guys are all the best.
Yes.
The best.
So I guess that will wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hope everybody enjoyed this one. More to come soon.
Yeah, you know, if you missed it, I will do a Twitch highlight and put it on YouTube so you guys can catch it. But I know a lot of this is just answering people's questions and catching up. If you stay with us on social media, we'll try to keep you updated.
Yep. And tune in this Monday for a new Monday mystery game, which has not been picked yet. Little concerned about that, but I'm sure we have something. So thanks, everybody. This is Doc Mack from the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield with former Game of the Year Pete Hahn. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we hope to see you around the arcade soon. Thanks a lot, everybody.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.